Hello everyone, my name is Michael K and welcome to a replica airguns video. This is the third video in a series of Retay blank guns that I've been doing. Now I did do a preview video that covered all three of these guns, which would be the Eagle, the Baron HK, and this one here, the CS9. I've already done full reviews on my Retay Eagle, my Retay Baron HK, so if you're interested in those other Retay blank guns, make sure to check out the links that I've put in this video. So we're looking at the CS9 by Retay, and this is a general copy of a Smith & Wesson CS9. Now there are some differences in this gun when comparing it to the original Smith & Wesson CS9, but overall it's a pretty decent copy. Now I want to mention right off the top that the Retay CS9 is available as a pre-order item till around October 20th, so if you're watching this video, it may or may not be still at pre-sale pricing. You'll save about $44 on this gun. We have it listed at the pre-sale price at $115, so that's a saving again of $44 if you get in on the pre-sale offer. Once we have inventory of this gun, it will be going back up to the regular price. So let's talk quickly about some of the specifications of the Retay CS9. It's a 9mm P.A.K blank shooter. It shoots in semi-auto. The magazine holds 13 rounds plus 1 in the chamber, so for a total of 14 rounds. This gun weighs about 2 pounds and is mostly metal. It's also a front firing gun with a semi-plugged barrel, so there's a metal rod that goes down the entire length of the barrel that inhibits any projectiles coming out of the front. This particular version is in gloss black, but the ones that I will be carrying in the replica airgun store will be the matte black version and the satin version. Now this gun is a single action only gun. So what comes in the box? Well, it's not exactly a box, it's a plastic hardshell case that is foam lined, and inside you get the Retay CS9, you get the flare adapter, and you also get this tool, and this tool is for disassembling the gun or field stripping the CS9. So we're going to take a quick walk around of the Retay CS9. We're going to start with the left side here. It has a metal slide and frame. You'll notice that it has the Retay branding here on the top on the slide, the CS9 name, and the caliber 9mm. You also have a stamped CS on the frame here and a serial number. You'll notice it has a decocking lever and a slide catch or slide release. Let's take a quick look at that. We'll just do a little slide release here. This gun has been safety checked. No rounds in it. You also have a metal magazine release here to release the magazine, obviously. This is a 13 round magazine, as I mentioned. Quickly load a few rounds into it. Loads just like you would load a real gun. These are 9mm blanks. There you go. Now the grips are plastic and the trigger is plastic. This is a single action only gun also. So you can see that the hammer is not moving. Now when you fire this gun, of course, as with most blowback styled guns, the slide kicks back, cocks the hammer, allowing follow-up shots without having to cock it manually. On the right side of this gun we have the open ejection port here. And you'll notice it's the natural metal finish. Looks nice in contrast to the black. We have our extractor pin located here. And other than that, there's not too much going on the right side of the gun. Now on the top of this gun, there's not really a whole lot going on. We have our sights, of course, and again, this is a blank gun, so they're non-adjustable. There's no need to have adjustable sights on a blank gun. You can see the hammer here again. Single action only. On the bottom of this gun, of course, we have our magazine. Again, we'll just eject this. Take a quick look. There's no rail. There's really not enough room for any type of a rail on this gun. Now, in the front of this gun, of course, we have the barrel. And again, I'm going to mention it, but there's a plug in the barrel, and I call it a plug, but what it does is it constricts the barrel, so it actually reduces the diameter of the barrel. And the reason for this is to allow back pressure so the gun cycles properly. Again, if you remove this plug, the gun will not cycle properly. so the slide will not kick back all the way, your shell will not eject, and the gun will not load a new shell into the chamber. So you'd have to manually do this. Now, the reason I mention this is a lot of the blank guns that I've sold in the past, they do have the plug, but the plug will be a little further in the barrel, which means you can put the flare adapter into the barrel a little bit easier. With these Retay guns, you're going to have to remove this plug using an Allen key to use the flare adapter. Once this plug is removed, you can screw in the flare adapter into the front. Now, there's just not enough threading to get this in at all. And as always, I like to do a bit of a comparison to at least one other gun I have in my collection. What I really want to compare this gun to would be the Zoraki 914. So what I'll do instead is I'll bring up a picture of the 914 right now so you can see the similarity. Now, they're not exact, but they're similar in looks and size. As you can see here, I have my Retay Baron that I'm using as a comparison model. And the reason I'm comparing it is because they're both similar in their taller, square styled slides. They both have decocking levers, and they both have similar slide catches. Alright, so it's time to do a quick field strip of the Retay CS9. And again, you need a tool for this, so I'll show you how that tool is used. First thing we're going to do, remove the magazine, double check the gun. We're going to need to unscrew this top bit here using the tool provided. Now once you have that removed, the slide goes back, up and forward, and your gun is essentially apart now. You have your guide spring and your guide rod here. The slide is nice and heavy. Put it back together, pretty much exactly the same order. I'm going to walk around here. That's it. Other than putting this back in. And that's it. Gun's back together. And we're good to go. At this point, I'm going to cut to the shooting video that I took earlier of the Retay CS9, where I shoot 3 rounds using my HD camera and capture this gun shooting in real time. And then I slow things down a bit using my high-speed camera, where I record the CS9 shooting an additional 3 rounds using my high-speed camera at 210 frames per second, so you can really see the action of this gun. Okay, so it's time to talk about the pros and the cons. Some of the things that I liked about the Retay CS9. It has a generous weight to it because it's made mostly out of metal, weighs about 2 pounds. Now it's more of a compact size gun, but it still holds 13+1 blanks in its double stack magazine. Now the one that I'm reviewing does come in gloss black, but I think it will look really nice in the matte black, just like my other Retay gun, the Baron HK. And keep in mind that you can also get it in satin, which will give it a bit more of a two-tone look. It's also nice that it's styled after the Smith & Wesson CS9, so if you're a Smith & Wesson CS9 owner, this would be a nice gun to own to go alongside your original one. And as with all my other Retay guns, I found that the Retay CS9 shot beautifully. All the rounds that I fired, chambered, fired, and ejected without any problems whatsoever. And similar to the Baron HK, I like that Retay went to the extra effort to put a nice stylized butt plate on here, similar to the real CS9. And another thing that I like about it is that the Retay CS9 kind of fills the void that was left when the Zoraki 914s were declared prohibited in Canada. Okay, so some of the things that I didn't like about the Retay CS9, again, the screw-in barrel constrictor would have been nice if it would screw in a little bit deeper so that you wouldn't have to remove it in order to put the flare adapter in, and it would also be a little bit more hidden and out of sight. Now again, if you're using this gun as a prop gun, you can remove that screw if you're doing any front-facing shots and put it back in as needed for shooting the gun. And probably the last con for this gun is it could have been maybe a little bit closer to the real CS9. The real CS9 does not have a decocking lever, so there's a couple little inconsistencies here when you're comparing it to the Smith & Wesson CS9, but overall it's still a pretty good copy. Alright, I want to thank everybody for watching another Replica Airguns video. Don't forget this gun is available as a pre-sale order item. If you're watching this video before we have inventory, make sure to take advantage of the $44 savings. Now this gun is still excellent value at the regular price, but hey, why not take advantage of a sale? Also come on down to the Replica Airguns website and web store where we have lots of products available, air guns, blank guns, accessories. I have lots of written articles and reviews for you to take a look at, so make sure to come on down and check us out. And if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. So thanks again for watching, and take care.